Peace and love. All praise to the Creator. Nobody else. Hope everybody had a good day today. Hopefully. And so that's awesome. Give me 1 second here.
I think a common struggle that Christians have is self-defense and concealed carrying. It's something that I hear commonly in comments, especially when it comes to Jesus's quote of turn the other cheek. Now, I did a video a few weeks.
Now, of course, we don't believe Mr. J. We're not Christian. The Bible explains that you can defend yourself. Okay? So I want y'all to choose. I want you to chew the meat and spit out the bones. Y'all know the hijacks.
Weeks ago on what that means, because it definitely doesn't mean don't defend yourself, and I'll put a link for that below. But there was a particular passage in Nehemiah, and I brought up Nehemiah in other videos as well, because Nehemiah was kind of at the tail end of the Jewish captivity. For 70 years, the Jews were held captive until the Persians conquered the Babylonians, and then it was a few years after that that they released them. And Nehemiah was a servant. He was the right-hand man to the king of Persia. And the king sent him back down to Jerusalem to help rebuild Jerusalem and rebuild the temple. And while he was there, the first thing he tried to do was build the wall, and he met all...
Now, the whole temple thing's a hijack. We are the temple. So don't fall for that. That's another trick.
All sorts of adversaries. And the greatest part of this particular story is how the construction workers, they would carry swords, and they would work with their hands, but they always had a sword handy in case they were attacked while they were building this wall. And all the naysayers, they threatened them. They told them that they were going to be killed if they tried to rebuild Jerusalem. But there's a particular verse, and I've read this many times, but I love the thing about the Bible is that it is a living word. It always kind of feeds me something new. And in 4:14 it says, "And I looked and arose and said to the nobles, to the leaders, and to the rest of the people, do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, great and awesome, and fight for your brethren, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your houses." Nehemiah tells them that they are obligated to fight for their sons, their daughters, their wives, and their houses. But the thing that kind of grabbed a hold of me in this passage is the way that the sentence starts. Remember the Lord your God, great and awesome, comma. And then he goes on to tell them to defend themselves. And I think that's an important note for us Christians, because as we decide to...
So it's an important note for the people of the Creator. Christian, if you're a Christian, stop being Christian and just be a child of the Creator. And start calling on names, because if you don't, you're having soul ties, because you call them on devils. You're calling on the nations things that you shouldn't be calling on. But anyhow, so you can defend yourself. You always keep the Creator first, and always you do have to be ready to defend yourself. Hold on. So you should have a weapon to defend yourself, because people are protesting and you see it's not going much anywhere. We ain't got to say what they're protesting about. We're just going to leave it at that. Bible verse is about protesting, right? So Bible verse is about protesting, related to protesting from the what? Cage. This is y'all book that y'all like to read from. So I'm going to go ahead and help you out. Okay? By Proverbs, open thy mouth, judge righteously. So you should be speaking against something if it ain't right. But also judge your neighbors and everybody righteously, because you have other folks who are going to judge you. And some folks are going to judge you unrighteously, particularly folks you protesting against. And plead the case of the poor and needy, right? Now, and that's what you're supposed to do if you're going to protest. Whoso steppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard. So, I'm pretty sure, these folks who are doing evil, and they ain't gonna be heard when it comes to their turn when they cry. And there's many people who walk by the bums on the street, don't give them nothing. These guys are on the street, man. Just the fact they're on the street is a cry. And how come nobody's helping them with their cry, right? Nobody seems to be helping besides very few. And we go to the King KJ, which y'all like, but I can't stand. Anyways, the Bible's talking about the mark of the beast, right? Bible verses related to the mark of the beast from the King James, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, Revelation 13, 16, 18. And he caused all both, big and small, right? Great, rich, and poor, free, and I can almost quote without even reading it, but anyways, and bond, so you have money, to receive the mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And we can read more because it should. Oh, come on now. Read more, huh? That's it. Okay. So when you see what's going on, you know, you cannot buy or sell without this mark of the beast. If there's something that they try to attach to that, then that should, by the scriptures, that should be an alarm, right? I'm just reading scriptures. I'm not telling you what to do. We ain't talking about nothing. You know, I'm just reading scriptures. And he caused. There we go. So we're gonna read more, just like we wanted to do, because let's dive into it now. And all of a sudden, what? Okay. And that no man might buy or sell. That no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. So if you got the mark, they'll let you buy and sell, but if you don't, they won't. And we already been through this too many times for me to keep explaining this. Or the name of the beast, which is the same thing. By you calling on those names, you call them names, your soul ties. Don't call no names, because you call names and you're gonna be marked by the name, be marked by the mark. Okay, or the what? Number of his name. If you worship in the devil, you already got that too. And then the mark, and then his name, I'm pretty sure there's all six. I know the six is definitely the mark. I know the six definitely goes to his name. If you call any of his names, any of them names all lead back to the same sixes. He is wisdom. Oh, sorry. Here is wisdom. There we go. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of the man, and his number is that number, that number, that number, and that number. You know what that is. Let's not play stupid. Alright? So you shouldn't get anything, because I'm telling you when it comes to that, because it's a clear sign saying it's the mark of the beast, right? And that what's going to happen after that. And I stood upon a what? Sea. He stood upon the sea and saw the beast rise up. So he's going to rise up after he gets enough people with the mark, or you keep calling on his name and all other stuff, which is part of the problem, because your soul ties is coming to collect. And some of y'all had to deal with him. Y'all got to pay up, have 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon the horns 10 crowns. Okay, this is talking about all of the nations, okay, upon his head in the name of blasphemy. Why is it blasphemy? Because all names y'all calling on, all names are the devil's name, because he got everybody with those names in the book. Read further, it gets worse. But see, his name is blasphemy, and that means his name blasphemes against the Creator. If you go ahead and get the mark, or you have his name in your mouth, or whatever way you want to call it, they got all types of stuff. I ain't gonna get into details. Man, I gotta save some of this for another lesson. But this is telling you where you at, and I'm gonna leave that at that. But see, you got people. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, you know, you can't tell some people nothing, right? You can't. And I'll be right there in your Bible so you can read it. And there's videos on us letting you know that, you know, things are what they are. There's another man talking. And I'm not going into too much detail because I got to keep it dry and simple. Because YouTube will hate and take this down if I don't keep it simple. Because they some haters. Okay, but whatever you do, remember what the Creator said, Revelations. Okay? Remember that. If you could just do that. Do not. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm going to leave it at that. Peace and love. Praise Creator. Nobody else.